I know you guys are wondering what's going on here, but your granny and I had this idea that we would like to share a little bit of our lives and what God's been teaching us with you guys from time to time and try to use the medium of video to do so. And so this is our first shot at it. We'll see how it goes. But today I wanted to talk to you about expectations. And I want you to think about expectations for just a couple of minutes here. I know you got school and homework and all kinds of other activities going on, so it won't take long. But I'm not talking about your expectations of yourself. I'm not talking about your mom and dad's expectations. I'm not even talking about your teacher, your preacher's expectations, or even your best friend's expectations of you. I want you to think about Jesus' expectation of you. What does he expect of you? And at the end of the day, if I've read my Bible correctly, his expectation is the only thing that really matters. And if you agree with that, say yes. Thank you. Okay, good. So I want to read a couple of verses to you from Mark chapter 12, verses 30 through 32. Let me read it to you. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, and with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And the second commandment is like unto this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. So I'd like to ask all of you guys to read those verses again on your own. That's Mark chapter 12, verses 30 through 32. I hope that you will read it over and over again until you have it memorized and you can carry it with you around in your heart if you haven't already done so. And I want you to really think about what those verses are saying. What is God's expectation of me? And when you're able to answer that question, or rather when I think more importantly, when God helps you to answer that question, you'll know what he really expects of you. And then I just want you to go and do that. That's what he wants you to do. So let me tell you a really quick story and then we'll be finished. I heard about a ministry and reading a book recently, a ministry that's happening in Africa right now. And it involves about 250,000 African kids, I'm sure from different countries. But they're being discipled by an organization there, a Christian organization there, every week. And the story says that these kids are going into unreached people groups on a weekly basis. In fact, last year, it says 2017, they shared the gospel with 169 different unreached people groups around Africa. And it says they're going to places where missionaries don't even go anymore. Places where missionaries have been killed for going to those places just to spread the gospel. And it seems that God is doing things through these kids probably your own ages, that you couldn't even imagine God doing through you at this point. For example, some of them went into a village where there was this great spiritual darkness kind of hanging over the village like a dark cloud, and the children in that village, they were dying every week, and no one could figure out what's wrong. And so these kids stayed in that village, and they prayed and prayed and prayed for hours. And it says that literally that whatever that was, that dark cloud, that spiritual darkness just kind of went away, and children in the village stopped dying mysterious deaths, and many others in the village were led to Christ. Other kids in Africa that are being discipled, they're going into other villages where animists and Muslims live and sharing the gospel, and people are getting saved. So I got a question for you. What did you do last week? And what did you learn in Sunday school? I'm not trying to shame you. I love you. But I want you to realize that God probably has a lot more for you to do for him than you ever imagined. So I wonder if right now you'd stop and pray with me. Let's pray. God, you said that your only expectation of me is that I would love you with all of my heart and all of my soul and all of my being, and then love others just like I love myself. And I can't do that without your help. But because I know that this is your expectation of me, and therefore of my grandkids, I pray that you will help us to love you and to love others in ways we've never thought possible. Amen.